Hey everyone, today I want to talk about a game that's not just colorful and chaotic, but also means something personal to me. Ratchet and Clank, the 2016 reboot based on the movie, based on the original game. Yeah, it's a bit of a loop, but trust me, it's a good one. Now, I didn't grow up owning a Ratchet and Clank game. My first exposure was at the age of 4, watching older kids play it on the PlayStation. All I remember was fire, explosions, a ton of running, and some pretty funny cutscenes. It stuck with me. A couple years later, one of my best friends had a copy on the PS3 and we played a bit together. So even though I didn't fully dive into the series until later, Ratchet and Clank were already familiar faces. Fast forward to now, and I finally played a full game in the franchise, Ratchet and Clank 2016. It's technically a reboot of the original game, but also ties in with the animated movie that came out the same year. This review is all about that version, the rebooted, reimagined movie connected game. Right out the gate, the game drops you into the action with a loadout of gadgets that fans of the series will recognize. Though for me, as a newcomer, they all felt brand new. The only weapon I knew was actually new was the pixel laser, thanks to some research I did later. It turns enemies into old school pixel sprites, and honestly, it never gets old watching that in action. Combat is tight and responsive. Weapons have that classic Insomniac Games flair, wild over the top and really fun to use. You've got flamethrowers, grenade launchers, a gun that makes enemies dance. Yeah, that's real. And swapping between them mid fight feels smooth and fast once you get the hang of it. The game keeps you on your toes by constantly throwing different enemies, gadgets, and environmental puzzles at you. You never stay in one place or loop too long, and that's one of the game's biggest strengths: variety. Let's talk graphics. This game looks like a Pixar movie. No exaggeration. The art style is cartoony but clean. The animations are smooth, and each planet has its own distinct vibe. You'll travel from sleek space stations to jungle planets to industrial war zones, and each one feels alive. Cutscenes are frequent, and they mix in clips from the movie with in engine cutscenes from the game. At first, it's a little jarring, but honestly, it works. The transitions are smooth enough, and the voice acting ties everything together. And shout out to the camera system, it works. I know that sounds like a low bar, but you'd be surprised how many games fumble it. Here, you always have a clear view of the action, especially during chaotic fights. Story wise, this is a reimagining of Ratchet's origin. He's a mechanic with big dreams, trying to prove himself worthy of joining the Galactic Rangers. He meets Clank, who crash lands nearby, and they team up to stop a larger threat. What stands out is how different Ratchet's personality is compared to earlier games. He's less cocky here, more earnest and humble. You get the sense he's got raw talent but still has a lot to learn. It's a reboot, so you didn't need any prior knowledge, but fans will catch little nods and throwbacks. The humor is solid, the pacing is brisk, and the world building is rich without being overwhelming. Now let's talk difficulty. This game isn't a cakewalk. Boss fights in particular can be tough, not because the bosses themselves are insanely hard, but because the hazards around you stack up fast. You're dodging lasers, explosives, swarms of enemies, all while trying to stay locked in on a target. What's interesting is that the game doesn't rely on memorizing patterns like a typical boss rush. Instead, it asks you to adapt, learn timing, use your weapons smartly, and keep moving. It's less Souls-like and more about endurance and reaction. If you die, it feels like you just didn't read the battlefield right, not that the game cheated you. Hoverboard races are another fun twist. They're fast, a little chaotic, but add great variety to the main gameplay loop. I only lost once, mainly because I didn't understand the controls at first, but once you get it, it's smooth. So here's my final take. Ratchet& Clank 2016 is a solid action platformer that knows what it is. It isn't trying to reinvent the wheel, but what it does really well. The gameplay is fast, the graphics are gorgeous, and the story is accessible for newcomers while giving old fans a fresh look at familiar characters. If I had to score it, I'd give it a strong 7 out of 10. It's nearly an 8, but a few difficulty spikes and a couple of moments that feel a little too tied to the movie hold it back just slightly for me. That said, the challenges are fair, the design is sharp, and the fun factor is always high. Whether you're new to the series or a returning fan, this reboot is worth your time. Just don't sleep on the pixelizer.